Hi, Ms. Prinzo.
Hi, Ms. Ferrera.
Okay, so today we're going to have our post-conference after my observation of you the other day. So before we get started, I just want to know how you thought the class went.
Well, I think it went as I had planned. I had planned a warm-up activity, and we got to go through that, and I think it prepped them for the topic. And then I lectured, but not for too long. I just had to get the basic information across from them, and then we did an activity at the end that helped to cement that information into their heads.
Okay, very good. So in your pre-conference that we conducted before the beginning of the school year, we discussed the Danielson framework and what our look-fors for this observation would be. And we said we were going to focus on domain 1, which is planning and preparation. And so what I noticed, what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of go through what I saw in the observation, and you're going to tell me if there's anything you think that I missed.
Okay.
And then we're going to discuss what the next observation will look like with your next evaluator.
Okay.
So on the draft that you have in front of you, it gives the evidence, which I found, and there's some pictures in there as well. So I came into the class about 10:19, and it was in the middle of class, and I sat down next to a couple of students, I'm sure you saw me, and I asked them what they were doing. And the questions that I asked the students were, what are you learning today? Why are you learning this? How does this apply to you?
Okay.
And I realized that the students were working in groups. And maybe you can go ahead and ask me, tell me a little bit about those groups. How were they made? How did you decide on the groups that the kids were working in?
At the beginning of the year, I didn't know the student population, so I did it just random. And as we're going along through the school year, and I determine who works the best together, I usually try to put a really high-performing student, maybe a lower-performing student, and two middle-of-the-road students in one group, because I feel like the higher-performing student can set an example and pull the other ones up to their level.
Okay, and do you feel that that's working out so far?
Yes, I've had to readjust a few times when you figure out who's friends with who, and make sure the work is getting done and they're focusing.
Okay. And as we were going through the lesson, I realized that you're using this program called Nearpod, and it seems pretty interactive. And I took some pictures that you can see on your draft as some evidence, and I could see that Mr. Rivetto, who's your inclusion teacher, was in there, and co-teaching, it seemed to be happening. I asked the students why while you're writing, do you help each other? How does that work out? And the students said that most of the time there's always two teachers in the room, and Mr. Rivetto sometimes helps out, you sometimes help out, depending on who they ask.
Right.
And then that was it. So I took a few more pictures, and then with a minute left, the kids packed up, and then the bell rang. So is there anything that you feel that you would like me to add to this document? I'll give you time to look over it. You're more than welcome to add to it after the fact if you'd like, but does that pretty much sound like how the lesson went?
Yes, and Mr. Rivetto, the special ed teacher, and I try to work together and seamlessly and co-teach the lessons, so I'm glad that came across too.
Okay, very good. So now what we're going to talk about is a little bit of what I saw regarding the framework, and in the Danielson framework, it's 1B was demonstrating the knowledge of the students. So the proficient language in that states that the teacher displays accurate understanding of the typical developmental characteristics of the age group, which I did see, and you had stated that you did get to know the students enough to pair them into groups, and you were, even within 6 weeks of the class year, able to address some issues and kind of rearrange the groups. Were you met with any kind of hostility or anything when you moved the groups?
Maybe a little resistance at first, especially if you're trying to break up friends.
Right.
But you just got to stand your ground.
Yeah.
You're here to learn.
Okay, very good. And then the other outcome, the other part of the framework that I looked at was actually 3A. And 3A in the framework says, in the proficient category, which we're looking for, the teacher's purpose for the lesson or unit is clear, including where it is situated with a broader learning. Right now in Nutley, we're looking at really Bloom's taxonomy, and how do you feel that you're getting your students to think in that higher level of thinking?
Yeah, I'm trying to present the information in a basic way, but then find some sort of activities where they have to like actually apply what they're learning. So either hands-on in a lab or through writing, because that's one of our goals too, is to get kids writing and thinking. So I think that I have gotten them more active in their learning, and a lot of engagement strategies and techniques also.
Okay.
Think, pair, share, and stuff like that.
Okay, very good. So for the next round of evaluations, your next evaluator will be in contact with you, but this post-conference will serve as the pre-conference for your next evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
So your next evaluator will just contact you and let you know what week, what 2-week window they will be in for. And I decided that your look-fors moving forward will be domain 2B and 3B. So I just want to go over that with you a little bit. So domain 2B is establishing a culture for learning.
Mm-hmm.
And since one of your personal goals is to really set with classroom management, I thought this would be a good second evaluation strategy. So what you want to look for is that you're conveying the content and having the students demonstrate what you're expecting from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 3B, we want to go ahead and look at, sorry, I'm flipping through here. Questioning and discussion techniques, where you're questioning the students, you're practicing your wait time,
Mm-hmm.
and you're waiting for the students to give you a response. And that's what your next evaluator will look for. So after this evaluation, I always like to give some feedback as to what you're commended for and what areas you need to work on. So like I said, your questioning techniques, I noticed that your wait time, perhaps, they say 3 seconds, and it sounds like a lot of time, but if you can try really to count in your head 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi,
Yes.
and to allow the students to really think about their answer before they give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you are commended, and please keep the co-teaching model going with Mr. Rivetto. Keep differentiating instruction without the students knowing what you're doing, especially in the inclusion classroom. Keep what you're doing with the laboratory safety, ensuring that all the kids are safe at all times, and that they're wearing their safety materials, and your next evaluator will be in touch with you. So you'll get your document. What we'll do now is I will go ahead and add whatever comments you'd like into this as evidence,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll get a copy, I will get a copy, we'll agree on it and sign it together, and then that'll go to your next evaluator.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.